Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Brody is headed to the Clippers. It's official. Of the other suitors, Chicago and Miami, those are the only ones I'd heard of. The Clippers were the ones that ultimately were the team that landed Brody's services. They're basically replacing Reggie Jackson with him. And the Clippers have a brand new team, you guys. You consider Mason Plumlee coming in, Bones Highland, Eric Gordon, Russell Westbrook. This is a new Clipper team, and they're gonna have to get used to each other, just like the rest of the teams that are making these type of changes midway through the season. Um, the Clippers are very dangerous, very very dangerous. How does Brody help their team? That is yet to be seen. Because I'm telling you, they're getting rid of Reggie Jackson, they're bringing in Russell Westbrook. I don't know that that's an upgrade in 2023. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you and say that I believe that's 100% an upgrade. Now I know Brody does different things, but Brody does some things that is going to hurt you, and that's what I've learned about over the last 2 years. I mean, we knew from secondhand conversations, obviously, people talking about Brody's tendencies as a negative, in a negative way. But I mean, as a Laker fan, we saw him all in the worst way, and it was very little positive to come with it. And I think he worked out a lot of his demons in purple and gold, and I do believe most of the problems that he had was related to him being in those colors. Uh, Putting on a Clipper uniform is an entirely different thing, even though it's the same building, same city. It's just a different organization, different goals, different expectations, different respect level, etc., that comes their way. And I think the Brody would probably fare better in Clipper blue, red, and white, because at the end of the day, when you're a Laker, it's incumbent upon you, especially as a Hall of Famer, to perform at a certain level. And for whatever reason, uh, he wasn't able to. And when you're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and the type of demands that we had, the fact that he was at $47 million, which he won't be for the Clippers, or will he be? Yeah, he's still in that contract. Or is that a buyout? Nah, that's a buyout, so it's a brand new contract. I don't know how that works. But I don't think he would be at $47 million for the Clippers. I'm pretty sure they're not inheriting that. So I'm imagining that buyout should have cleared that with Utah. That should have ended that contract officially. But with that being said, he's headed to the Clippers on a much more affordable deal. Has not been announced yet, but I think he could prove to be a player that helps them rebound the ball. He could do some of the same things that he did for us in regards to rebounding um, and guarding bigger players in situations where he's asked to kind of body up some of the centers in the league, some of the power forwards in the league that are really big. They tend to not be as successful against him because he's able to stand tall against those guys and ultimately be like a mouse to an elephant to him. It really does bode well when we tried it just about every time. So I wonder if Ty Lue will try to incorporate that into what it is that he does with the other defensive players that they have on the wing. They should be a very dangerous team to have to try to score against. Uh, the Clippers are dangerous, man. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't think the Clippers are a serious team that can win the championship or something like that. I think this is probably the best chance that the Clippers have probably had to win a championship since this thing has been, since ever, obviously ever, but even more so since this thing has been assembled. I think this Clipper team is better than 2020's Clipper team. I think this Clipper team is better than last year's and all these other, they're healthy. Kawhi is healthy. PG is healthy. They've picked up those players. They still have Terrence Mann. They still have Coffee. They still got most of what they need to keep them successful. And I just expected them to do so. I said one of the things that I needed them to do if I were a Clipper fan was to get them a center, not necessarily replacing Zubac, but somebody who they could just bring in to be his backup or step in front of him. And they've done that in Mason Plumlee. And I know Plumlee is a guy who's still very effective. Somebody who can give you assists, rebounds, score the ball. Can't shoot free throws worth a dang, but he can really, really make up for that by doing intangible things that other centers don't do, playmaking and things of that nature. So I like Mason Plumlee for the Clippers a whole lot. Eric Gordon, he could hit shots for that team and string it up real fast. And then bringing in Bones Highland just makes it so that they didn't get too old. That was the thing about the moves that they made. You got older bringing in Westbrook. You got older bringing in EG. But you didn't necessarily hurt yourself in that way when you pick up Bones Highland. And so, given the fact that Bones Highland's a heck of a ISO player, it's going to be interesting to see how they incorporate him into what they do. He can tend to run hot and cold, kind of streaky. Still going to be a project, but a super high level project who has a chip on his shoulder about how things went in Denver. So I know he's going to want to get some revenge, and I'm hopeful that the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets play each other in these playoffs. I think that's going to be a heck of a thing to see because that kid is really upset. He really is. And the Clippers do have a heck of a team. And I think that they have a chance of beating the Denver Nuggets this year. I think they got a chance. So I think that would be a pretty cool matchup. But all in all, bringing Brody in for me is just if I'm a Clipper fan, I'm wondering is Brody going to be a problem in any way? And if so, letting go of Reggie Jackson, letting him go to the Nuggets, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of the things where it's like, all right, you did it now. You've let that happen. You think you're upgrading, but you watched us go through this for 2 years. You watched us go through this. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, he's going to drive Paul George and Kawhi Leonard crazy. We know it. That's why Laker fans, I do not believe Laker fans are shaking in their boots when they heard that Westbrook was signing with the Clippers. If anything, we just realized that they picked up a poison pill. They just killed themselves by doing this. We had to get rid of him because he does things that cater to losing. And so what you have to do is bench him in the fourth quarter, which is going to piss him off and blow up your locker room. So that's the problem. He doesn't allow you to manage him in a way that allows for you to get the most out of him. And with the Clippers, he's likely going to be starting. Unless my mindset isn't set on what it is that they have in their lineup, he would definitely be coming in and starting as their starting point guard. Brody, PG, Kawhi Leonard, Zubats, and whoever they're starting at the 4. They've let Kennard go, so they lost some shooting, and they got a little older there. I'm not in love with that. I'm not saying that EG's not an upgrade from Kennard, but I like Kennard's upside more than EG's going forward. So letting him go to another contender that they're going to be rivaled with in Memphis, it's like you guys are letting guys from your locker room go to places that are potentially going to be scheming against you in the playoffs. Do you have any idea how dangerous that can be? Clippers, these are the type of things I'm like, I kind of felt that way about letting TB go to the Denver Nuggets as well, but I look at the Lakers differently than I look at the Clippers this year. As a Laker fan, I'm legitimately saying this in this camera. I think the Clippers are more of a contender than we are. From the start of the season to now, you have more of a we must win the championship goal than the Lakers do. Because the Lakers, even though their demand is the same, the expectation is that they probably wouldn't stay healthy to do so. Now, the Clippers' expectation is definitely the same as well, but the Clippers started the season with a much deeper team, so they should be able to handle that, withstand that injury better than the Lakers. And plus, they have more wing defenders and stuff like that to kind of deal with the modern era. You would think that with their stars being younger than Bron and AD, one would think that their upside to win the championship would be slightly higher, and so I view it that way, to be honest with you. And my thing is, if I'm the Clippers, I think it's time. I think it should be the Celtics and the Clippers in the finals if I'm a Clipper fan, and there should be nothing in the way of that. None of these Western Conference teams. And if I'm letting key players that have been in my system for several years go to key places that I know I'm going to have to see in the playoffs, it just seems to me that could be very, very, very counterproductive to your strategy. So that's what the Clippers have done. That's exactly what they've done. The Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies now have homegrown Clippers in their locker room. And, the Clippers got some new players coming in that are a little older. Like I said, Plumlee and EG, significantly older. And I just don't know. I don't know. You got to thank goodness they brought in Bones Highland. But is Bones an upgrade from Luke Kennard? Not consistently in terms of shooting. Not really. He will be when he reaches his highest point. But right now, no, you're expecting much more inconsistency from his shooting and much more volume. He's going to take more shots. So it's a lot of stuff there that Ty Lue's going to have to manage. And I don't know what's going to happen there with John Wall. Has he already been bought out? I don't know, but I'd imagine he's on his way out. I don't know. As I look at the Clippers and I try to assess what they have, they still have plenty of reliable talent. Like highly reliable talent. But when you're talking about bringing in so many new pieces and you're incorporating Brody into it too, particularly your starting lineup, your team's going to be different, man. You're going to find out. The Clippers are going to find out. They're going to find out. If I were them, I'd hold on to John Wall. Put it like that. This is not the time to be letting a high-level point guard, whether he's washed or not, out of your situation. You're bringing in Russell Westbrook. You do not want him out. The one thing you can't say about Russell, though, is he's not going to miss games. He'll be there. If there's 23 games left, he's going to play probably all 23 of them. But he going to cost you. He going to cost you like 17 of them. Like the way, if you let him control things, he going to lose most of them games if he's the one holding the ball down the stretch of the game. So you gotta manage him. So Ty Lue got his work cut out for him. He does. I just don't. I know better. I know better. You know, when I was a Laker, screaming bring Russell Westbrook in. When I was a fan and screaming that, I didn't know better. I did not know what all comes with Brody, man. But now when you bring him into a situation where you want to win a championship, you gotta understand that I think he wants to win, but he gonna have to get out of the way in order for it to happen. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what it really comes down to. And in a short window of time, in terms of gelling, trying to get everybody on one page, in the second half of the season, he's the last type of piece I want to incorporate into my starting lineup. That's the last dude I want trying to learn the system and then proceed to try to lead us to glory. Especially when other people of higher cachet are relying upon him to get them the ball. Now, granted, he's going to be good at that particular thing because he was definitely running, the offense and allowing AD to get the ball in situations where other people were just failing to get him the ball when we really needed the team to do that. So I want to amend that by saying he'll probably be good in some of those areas, but on his terms. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be on his terms. And it's not because he's not willing to play off ball. He'll try, but if he plays off ball, it's not going to work. He doesn't particularly attack well off the ball. And so guys like Kawhi Leonard want to get into their emotions. You're playing 4-on-5 because you get him the ball, something's going to likely either go wrong or he's going to strike too fast. And that's another thing. You got to get used to his rhythm. Guys like Zubats and all the players on that team, Terrence, man, they got to get used to how fast that dude likes to attack. Because if you're not ready for the basketball, he's going to throw the possessions away. The ball slips out of his hands like it's butter in his fingers. This is a weird rhythm, and it works because it's twice as fast as everybody else if you're ready. But if you got bad hands or if you're not prepared for that, and you're trying to figure it out in the second half of the season with little time left, I'm telling you, they're going to throw possessions away just off the strength of him doing things a certain way. They're going to throw possessions away. So, no Western Conference fan is worried about the Clippers after doing this because essentially they just picked up a real problem. They picked up a very, very big problem. And it's not me talking down on him. This is just the evidence and everything that we've seen. This is just what it is. You picked up somebody who's going to be a direct deterrent to you being successful down the stretch of basketball games. Throughout the second and third quarter, if you allow him to do his thing, he's going to help you run the score up. But if you leave him out there too long, the score's going to go right back down because of things that he does. And he gets baited by the fans very easily. If it's a bad shot to take, he's going to stumble. Either he's going to take the shot or he's going to mess up the latency of the play if the fans are egging him on to shoot. It's going to be a lot. And he's still in L.A. See, that's the thing. Even though he's coming to Clipperland, Clippers already know him just as well as we did if they watched enough of us. And they ain't going to have a lot of patience for him either. So, as far as him succeeding in Clipperland, if he allows PG and Kawhi to run the show, they'll still be on the same trajectory they're always on. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. They live and die with them. But if he becomes a problem, and he needs the ball in his hands, or for some reason he don't want to get the ball to Brody and PG in certain situations, Laker fans going to be fine with that. We happy that happened. Because at the end of the day, you just crippled yourself and don't even know it. So that's how I look at it. That's exactly how I look at it. And it's a lot of people going to be like, don't talk about Brody like that. I'm like, how can I not, bro? I followed this team every single game for his entire tenure as a Laker. All right? I'm not one of them people that's just kind of watching certain games. No, go back and check. I've covered every game. This is what it is. This ain't me talking bad about this dude. I've talked about wanting to see him succeed. I've talked about how I appreciate how he's been able to display a desire to come off the bench and things of that nature. He did a lot to make me respect him. It's not about not respecting him. It's just about identifying what a person's going to do on the basketball floor. No different than seeing Steph Curry's going to be a fantastic shooter. No different than seeing Giannis is going to dunk and defend and be amazing. No different than seeing Luka Doncic going off and scoring 40 and 20 and 15. Like, these things are going to happen. Russell Westbrook doing things that hurt you down the stretch of a basketball game is going to happen. It just is what it is. It's just like him getting triple doubles. It's gonna happen. So you got to be ready for it if you're a Clippers fan, and there's certain things that you're gonna have to get used to. Just like Laker fans, when he got off the team along with the other players that we wanted to move on from, the one thing that I can honestly say as a Laker fan is that games went smoothly. Certain things that you got used to that ultimately work against you just did not happen because he didn't check in the game. It's that simple. We ain't going to worry about guys playing off of him and him taking a brick shot that ain't going to work. You ain't got to worry about him missing layups and things of that nature, not getting to the line, breaking free throws. You ain't got to worry about that. Or the opposite of that is when you finally give up on him, then he comes in and goes crazy for you. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know when this dude's going to play well. I can't count on him at any point in time to do anything I expect to see happen. It's either going to be the opposite or something random. And when he does play well, it's like, yo, that's great. I want to trust him forever. And then the very next game he comes out and does some of the same stuff you complain about. It's just never, you're rolling the dice each and every time. Each and every time. And as somebody who's going to be going up against him now, I'm like, I hope I see the Clippers in the playoffs. And I hope he has the ball in the game down the stretch of the game. Because it's going to work in our favor. It just is what it is, man. You watch a dude do that 160 times, you get it. You understand. It's over. I'm happy he's gone. I don't mind him going down the hall. I think he's going to hurt the team ultimately with the way that he plays. That's it. And then when they start trying to hold him accountable for it, his mindset's going to be, we're here to have fun. Winning is something that if we happen to stumble into a win, we'll feel good about it. But other than that, I'm trying to get my stats. And that's where we're at. That's what we want here. And so I always said, if that was his mentality, he needed to be a Clipper. Because that's how they roll. They aim for beating us instead of winning championships. They aim for putting up selfies instead of, banners. They don't have any statues outside. They don't have any trophies of any kind. They claim to fame as players that they got over the last 10, 15, 20 years. None of which won anything for them. That's where Brody needs to be. If you want to come home, play in Los Angeles, there's a team for those type of expectations. You can go there, and even if you're doing the fun thing, it's still going to be acceptable. The fans are going to cheer you, and nobody's going to be upset that you didn't reach any goals that the Lakers were reaching for. Because we're a different beast. We expect excellence. We don't care too much about fun. We'll face our pressures, etc., in order to win. We're not trying to coddle ourselves into comfortable losses. We're trying to dig our way out of where we've been so we can get back championship glory. We're not confused by that. We're not lost. We know how to get there. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need players on our team that's going to have us reaching for things that don't add up to championship glory. So that's how I feel about that, man. That's how he should have been there the whole time. That's where he should have been. That's more his speed. I think he's going to be a fantastic Clipper for their standards. And I look forward to the Lakers and the Clippers finally seeing each other in the playoffs, which has never happened. And I think the Lakers are going to win the series because Brody's on the other side, and he's going to do things that's going to make sure of it. And that's just how I see it, man. It's just how I see it. I wish I didn't see it that way. I was rooting for him to overcome and reach a space where I believed that he wouldn't be like that. The last time I saw him play in a Laker uniform, he was very competitive versus OKC. He was trying to win. And so that's very important to say. And hopefully he carries that momentum. You're only as good as the last time we saw you, and the last time I saw Brody, he was trying real hard to win. So if he can carry that forward for the next however many games the Clippers are going to be playing, maybe they can. But he's going to have to take everything that he learned from LA, including everything he did wrong, and not do it again. Otherwise, he's just going to make me look right. So that's pretty much it. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.